The 90s was a great decade for gaming, but one company in particular engraved itself into gaming history during this time. Capcom released so many iconic games over this one decade it deserves a look back. I'm Will from Game Rant, and today we're talking about the best Capcom game from every year in the 90s. 1990. Mega Man 3. Mega Man 3 can be overshadowed a bit by its more lauded older brother, but this game brought a lot to the table as well. The mysterious Brakeman would keep showing up to interrupt your battle against the fresh batch of robot masters, and players would have to hone their skills to understand why. This game replaced the items from Mega Man 2 with the Robo-Dog Rush and gave Mega Man one of his best moves, the slide. Mega Man 3 is a great entry from this iconic series, even if Mega Man 2 gets a bit more attention. 1991. Street Fighter II: The World Warrior. Street Fighter II helped to define the fighting game genre and set the standard for what future fighting games would offer. The game would be remade and reiterated upon for years to come with gameplay that still holds up. Not to mention the fantastic soundtrack from Yoko Shimomura, which has remained a classic to this day. Capcom actually had a lot of other strong entries in this year, but none could surpass The World Warrior. 1992. Street Fighter II: Hyper Fighting. Speaking of being remade, Street Fighter II Hyper Fang improved upon what was already solid. Fan-favorite characters gained new moves, with Chun-Li getting her Kikoken Fireball and Dalsum getting his teleporting ability. The speed at which battles were fought actually caused Capcom to slow things down in future entries, with Turbo being a setting for those who preferred the speed. 1993. Breath of Fire. Super Street Fighter II, which released in 1993, slowed things down considerably compared to its predecessor, so fans were looking for alternatives. Luckily, Breath of Fire was there to give players something different. This RPG takes players through a journey as Ryu, the last surviving member of the Light Dragon clan. Ryu gathers allies and hones his skills to save his sister from the Dark Dragon clan. This game had some great graphics and solid music to accompany its story, which showcased Capcom's ability to make a great RPG. 1994. Mega Man X. Mega Man X takes the classic Mega Man formula and evolves it to suit more powerful consoles. The levels were bigger and more vertical to complement X's ability to wall jump. Not just that, but X would collect more and more powerful abilities which allowed him to take down his foes more easily. Mega Man X was such a hit that it spawned an entire new series of games which stood out as more modern and flashy than its non-X alternatives. 1995. Marvel Superheroes. Capcom was the dominant name in fighting games in 1995, with plenty of standout titles under their belt. Their newest and greatest game of this year, Marvel Superheroes, took the fighting game formula they perfected and brought it to the world of Marvel Comics. It featured plenty of the comic characters Marvel fans know and love as they battle for the Infinity Gems, which can be used in-game for boons in combat. While most gamers prefer the team-based gameplay Marvel vs. Capcom is known for today, it doesn't make this game any less of a hit. 1996. Resident Evil. Going in a completely different direction, Capcom released a survival horror game that changed the landscape of gaming in 1996. Resident Evil delivered a dark and creepy atmosphere that filled players with a sense of tension and dread. Supplies were limited and enemies tough, so just shooting your way through situations wasn't always the best plan. Plenty of survival horror games came out after this and improved on what Resident Evil established, but very few could match up with the true horror of the original. 1997. Mega Man Legends. 1997 was the year that saw a complete shift in the power balance between arcades and consoles. Mega Man Legends would be the flagship title for this shift as it brought Mega Man to the world of 3D. Its controls haven't necessarily aged well, but its graphics and open world design certainly have. Mega Man Legends became more and more divisive over time, but arguably still holds up as a solid title. 1998. Resident Evil 2. What Resident Evil laid down, Resident Evil 2 built upon. The setting was bigger, the story delved deeper into the Umbrella Corporation and its influence, and the enemies got more and more dangerous. Speaking of enemies, this game introduced the enemy that would be the blueprint for one of the series' most iconic monsters, Mr. X. The main game wasn't the only draw either, as the fourth survivor gave players more gameplay with the character Hinck trying to escape before time runs out. The remake of this game was certainly great, but the original stands strong on its own. 1999. Street Fighter III: Third Strike. Capcom was closing out the decade on a high note in 1999, meaning the best game of this year had to be worth the title. Luckily, Street Fighter III Third Strike fits the bill. Considered one of, if not the, best fighting games of all time, Third Strike gave players an experience like no other. The gameplay was smooth, it introduced parry mechanics, and brought even more amazing characters to the franchise. This game did take a little bit to gain popularity, but once it did, there was no turning back. That was our list of the best Capcom games from each year in the 90s. For more games and articles like this, remember to drop by GameRant.com. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.